our Dr. Ray Tyser from the Department of the Peace Studies, International College, Payap University, Thailand, as the keynote speaker. And I'm pretty much sure that you will all enjoy the presentation of our Dr. Ray sir. Sir is always coming with the wonderful slides, animated slides, I would like to share, and beautiful presentation. Very simplicity in his presentation. Let us welcome Dr. Ray sir with the big hand in this platform to have our presentations in this MRD 2024 2.0. Over to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Namaste.
Levels of analysis, sampling, sampling biases, sampling errors, and bias avoidance. Greetings, everyone, from Thailand. This is the outline of my short presentation today. We'll talk about levels of analysis, why that's important, concrete examples, what would be the best methodological fit, best sampling fit, worst sampling fit, pros, cons, some considerations, sampling errors to avoid, sampling biases to avoid, and solutions. Why do we need to look at sampling? Because a lot of reports have biases and they also have errors, and they make claims which really do not warrant such claims. And this is a real world problem. I, in fact, had a recent talk with some organization, the International Rescue Team Committee, and also an institute, research institute in Germany. And they want to fix problems of reports which make big claims which are not warranted. Therefore, we need to be careful and to avoid these problems. So what are the three major levels of analysis when we conduct research? One is micro level, two is the meso level, and three, the macro level. In the micro level, we look at specific cases. One person, one corporation, one school. In the meso level, we're looking at groups. A group of drug addicts, a group of minority students, a group of executives, a group of factory workers. In the macro level, we're looking at big data sets. They're called metadata. For instance, sex, education, income often are available when you do SPSS, you have readily available data sets on the big picture. How many people are African American in the whole US, for example? So you're looking at the bigger picture. And what are the uses of these levels of analysis? If we want to look at the bigger picture, the macro level of analysis, it's the best. If we want to look at group dynamics, why do some workers hate some workers in the same office? So that's the dynamics between them. And micro level, we're looking at why do some people succeed or fail? Or why is Bill Gates Bill Gates? Or why is one company successful or not? So we're looking at deep insights into that case. Examples of large macro data sets would be looking at the climate, looking at the international economy, looking at the world population, looking at imports and exports, looking at what's the trend right now in TikTok, in Instagram, in Snapchat, and so on. And then we're looking at the ranking of universities around the world. What is the number 1 to number 10 top performing universities? And we're looking at to what extent people are vaccinated in the whole country and how much energy is used, the renewable, the non-renewable, petroleum, and all other sources of energy. And what is the global trend in the population growth and migration patterns? So we're looking at the bigger picture. And you can do that in all different cases. You can look at migrant workers, you can look at corporations, you can look at movements of people around the world. For meso studies, we're looking at specific groups. For example, the workplace dynamics in a transnational company, or what are the community-led interventions for the public health of the people? Or what about the educational program impact across some school districts? So you're looking at the dynamics among groups. And you can do that again in many different types of situations. For micro cases, you would look at one single patient's medical history. Why, given twins, why does one have longer life than the other? Because they have the same genes. Presumably, they grew up with the same family. What is the reason for which one has a longer life? Then you're looking at some factors which differ between the twins, okay? Or looking at the historical letter. For example, the letters of, let's say, Gandhi, the letters of Churchill, and so on and so forth. And you're looking at very deep insights into what were they thinking at a given time, or what happened in one specific incident. So you are looking at them for using different perspectives as compared to the macro analysis. Therefore, you need to have different tools to look at them, because these situations are very different. So what would be the best methodological fit for these different things? For the macro level analyses, quantitative research is the best, because you're looking at big pictures, you're looking at the sweeping patterns. For the micro level, you're looking at why is, let's say, Facebook so popular, or why is TikTok more popular than Facebook, or WhatsApp, all of these social media tools. Then you're looking deep into the reasons behind which there are some patterns that lead to success. In the meso level, qualitative is still very important, but it does not rule out looking at the same group dynamics through quantitative analysis. So meso is kind of in between, depending on the number of subjects in your study. So what about the best sampling fit when you do social investigation? There are two major sets. Random sampling is the best for quantitative research. And for qualitative research, non-random sampling is the best fit. Okay? So for the macro, random is good because everyone should have an equal chance of being selected for the purpose of representativeness. For the micro level, you do not claim to have representativeness, and you should not make claim to representativeness when you do one case study. In the meso level, it's better to group phenomenon accordingly, like people from ages 5 to 18, then 19 to 23, you're looking at certain trends. Or the workers who are in the same company for 1 year, that's one group, and then workers who are in the company for 5 years, that's another group, and you want to compare them. So you stratify them into different groups. And for the macro research, you want random sampling. It should have diverse population. Why? Because if you only select all managers, managers do not represent the views of the common workers, right? So you must have, people must have equal chances of being selected in the research. In the micro study, you don't really care about representativeness. You care about the depth of information you can get from the people with whom you would have a dialogue or interview. In the meso level, the group level, you want to make sure you don't only talk to men, but women should also be represented, for example. Or middle level bureaucrats, as well as the lower level bureaucrats and the higher level bureaucrats, all must have their say. So here we look at the relationship between macro, micro, and meso when you conduct research using the methodology and the sampling. Both of them should go together. Okay, so here are more examples, but I'll cut short due to lack of time. So here, for the random sampling, you have simple random. Everyone should have an equal chance of being selected. The classic example is drawing lots from a hat. You have your names, you pick a name or a number. In systematic, you try to say there's a specific order with which you select the sampling. Like for every 15 houses, you will interview the head of the family, for example. And if the 15th house is 2 rivers away, you cannot cheat. This is real. You have to walk across the 2 rivers to go to the 15th house. If you cheat, then you have disrupted the systematic sampling. It's not really random now because you have cheated. Okay? In stratified sampling, you would say, for example, we want to look at migrant workers, but maybe not migrant workers in general. We want to say a group from Nagaland, a group from Chennai, and another group from Kerala. So you want to have representative stratified according to where they came from. And multi-stage, you would go even deeper. Aside from looking at people if they come from Tamil Nadu or from Delhi, you would say, well, we want to select people who are from the suburbs or who are from the business class. And then go deeper and say, we will select X number of families. And then after the families, the person you will contact when you reach the house, whoever that might be. Okay, it could be the house help, that's fine. It could be, but it should be an adult because there are rules on ethics if they are minors. Then if it's the eldest daughter, fine. Then you say, we want to interview you. Okay, so that would be for the random sampling. For the non-random, you have convenience. Like, okay, I want to interview students. Whoever come here, cross my way, or who is in the cafeteria, or in my class. It's just convenience. Purposivists would like to look at activist students who are pro X or anti Y. So you choose people who have certain criteria. And then for quota, you want to say, we want to select X number of female and X number of male who are pro this or anti this. So their quota for different groups. Snowball is for very difficult subjects. For example, you want to find out who are the organizers of the trade union. Maybe it's illegal in some countries, or maybe it's dangerous in some countries. Maybe it's illegal in some countries. So no one would say, oh, I am secretly organizing a labor union. So the person you can ask that person, do you know someone else who I can interview? And clarifying this will be anonymous, it will be confidential, and you will not reveal the names. So snowball is someone else will refer you to somebody else. And it's usually because you cannot find another subject. And judgmental is you want to say, for example, we want to look at the case of the Dalit. Then it has to be Dalit because you say that this group had not been represented in this study. So we need to have a Dalit who will be our subject in our study. So you clearly make the decision that this person is the best representative for that study. So there are best fit and there are worst fit. For the macro study, you do not do convenience sampling. That your findings will not be representative. Again, this is a real problem with many big organizations when they conduct research and they have reports which are not representative. I had this dialogue last week on that's why I chose this topic because we were talking about this. with a German research institute. So you should not use macro convenience sampling in the macro level. For the meso level, you cannot use the same homogeneous group if you're comparing middle income and high income. If they're all middle income, then there's nothing to compare, for example. You have no other criteria. And micro, if you're looking at one case success story, don't make a claim that all people can be successful if they work hard, because there will always be counterexample. Well, I know somebody who did not work hard at all. He just came from a moneyed family, which was handed down. So hard work does not automatically mean you will have high income. So be careful in making generalizations in the micro cases. So pros. The good thing about large macro analyses is you can make claims of generalization. The good points of meso group studies is you can look deeper into the group dynamics of middle income, low income, male, female in a company, or people who've worked there for 1 year and people who've worked there for 5 years. Sorry. And for the micro case studies, you look at why some people succeed, why some people fail, why some people live longer lives, but you cannot make generalization. But you have very rich context why they are the way they are. Okay, so you can have those things, and yeah, in the macro analysis, you're doing grand narrative. Like there's class struggle between the rich and the poor in society. The poor gets poorer, the rich gets richer. In the meso level, you look at men and women relationship, the majority religion versus the minority religion, the dominant culture versus the minority culture, color of skin, for example, and where you come from. In the micro studies, we look at the narratives, the stories of individuals, and how they succeed or fail. Due to lack of time, I will jump. Okay, there are many biases: selection, measurement, time, geography, publication, people who volunteer even if they don't fit your criteria, non-response, people don't answer, uh, uh, recall bias, survivorship of the research participant, Hawthorne effect, people know they're being tested, confirmation bias, people know that you want this answer, they'll give you this answer, and sampling rate bias, not enough respondents to required sampling number of people who should be part of the research. Funding bias. If a pharmaceutical company gives you this money, they would expect you to say something good about the research. That's why there is always public disclosure at the end of research if they are funded. You have to make clear who funded this research that you are publishing. To make clear you are being honest and fair in your findings. Okay, so I will just skip now due to lack of time, and just remember that you can do different levels of analysis, and be careful, don't jump into conclusion if you cannot. And if you want to reach out to me and see my PowerPoint and so on, you can catch them in Creative Commons at academia.edu, or you can write me at REYTY4. Thank you so much.